On the day we were supposed to register our marriage, my fiancé didn't show up. My guardian handed me a blank check, signed with his law firm's name. 3 options. Alex Lawson's voice was calmer than the New York February wind. First, I take you back to the apartment. Second, this check is enough for you to start a new life in any state. Third, ***. His fingertips lightly brushed over the mark I had unconsciously bitten into the back of my hand. This gesture, he had remembered for 8 years. As Catherine Zhang. Not as my partner's daughter. Not as my ward. Come with me. Later, all of Park Avenue knew that the founder of Lawson Partners had found his bride on the steps of City Hall. Only I knew. Inside the inner pocket of that custom-tailored suit, besides the checkbook, was a ring he had been holding onto for 4 years. Engraved on the inside of the platinum band were the words, "Since JFK, 2015. Chapter 1, Rainy Night Arrival. I was 16 the year my father's Silicon Valley startup failed for the 3rd time. That afternoon, with creditors at the door, he shoved me onto a flight to New York, pressed a new phone and a note into my hands. Find Alex Lawson. Call him Uncle. 9 hours later, I was detained by customs at JFK. A minor traveling alone, no guardian to receive me, questionable purpose for my passport and visa. As the immigration officer began his 3rd round of questions, a voice came from behind me. She is my ward. Alex Lawson of Lawson Partners. This is my law license and the guardianship paperwork. I turned my head. A man stood there in a suit that remained impeccably pressed despite the late-night flight, holding court-sealed documents. Rainwater dripped from his hair, landing on the plastic cover of the file. Outside the glass wall, a New York downpour was drenching the world in streaming neon. The officer examined the papers and handed back my passport. Remember to file the paperwork sooner next time, Mr. Lawson. I will. He took my suitcase, his other hand resting lightly on the small of my back. Catherine? I nodded, my throat tight. The car's outside, he said. I know about your father's situation. From today on, you'll live with me. That was my first time seeing Alex Lawson. 24 years old, the youngest top graduate from Harvard Law, having just founded his own firm in Manhattan. And my father, his early angel investor, was fleeing death somewhere far away. That penthouse on the Upper East Side became my sanctuary for the next 6 years. Alex was rarely home. We were like tenants in mismatched time zones. He was in court during my school hours, at hearings during my holidays. Our only fixed intersection was the first Monday of every month, when his financial advisor would come to the apartment to review the trust fund statements with me. The funds your father left, plus the returns from his early investment in Alex's firm. The advisor adjusted his glasses. Currently managed by Alex as trustee until you turn 21. I stared at the string of numbers on the report. Is this enough? To get me through college? Enough for you to finish law school and buy a 2-bedroom on the Upper West Side. Alex's voice came from the study doorway. He was holding a cup of coffee, shirt sleeves rolled to his forearms. But if your grades are good enough, I'd recommend applying to Yale. Their alumni network would serve you better. That was the first time I realized. This man I was supposed to call Uncle was mapping out a future for me he had never explicitly mentioned, yet had paved the way for long ago. I met Ethan Zhao in the Columbia University Library around the time Alex's firm won that famous securities class action lawsuit. The Wall Street Journal ran a full-page feature on him, a photo showing him standing on the federal courthouse steps, his profile as sharp and cold as a sculpture. Ethan was the classic second-generation immigrant overachiever, Wharton MBA, an analyst at an investment bank, remembered every anniversary, booked Michelin-starred restaurants to celebrate when I won a paper award. On Valentine's Day of our 3rd year together, he proposed at the top of Rockefeller Center. Outside the window, all of Manhattan was alight. As a waiter wheeled over a champagne tower, the diamond ring refracted the candlelight into 60 facets. I said yes. When we decided on the registration date, I agonized over how to tell Alex. In the end, I just sent a text. City Hall. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Ethan and me. 3 minutes later, he replied. Sleet expected. Wear a heavy coat. Need a ride? I stared at the words. For 6 years, most of our conversations had been like this, brief, practical, maintaining distance. As if he had never crossed the line of guardian, even though I was long past adulthood. Until the next day, when New York snow dusted the City Hall steps. Until Ethan's first love sent a video, the email subject line reading, "Sorry, but he chose me in the end." Until Alex Lawson's hand covered my phone screen, snowflakes melting into dark stains on his overcoat. Until he said asterisk. He doesn't want you anymore. Asterisk asterisk. Want to give me a try? The ring engraved with "Since JFK, 2015, was first revealed publicly 3 months later, at a hearing. Ethan's mother had petitioned the court for a restraining order, accusing me of marriage fraud for financial gain. Her lawyer presented bills in court. My client spent over $20,000 on Ms. Zhang, including an engagement ring. Alex sat in the first row of the gallery. After the opposing counsel finished, he raised his hand. The judge nodded. "Mr. Lawson, this is not your case. But it involves my ward, and," he stood, pulling a velvet box from his suit's inner pocket. "Potentially bigamy charges, if she has already accepted another ring." The courtroom fell silent for a second. He opened the box. The platinum ring shone coldly under the lights. Custom-made 4 years ago, date engraved. Under New York state law, a legally binding engagement is established upon gifting. He looked at the other lawyer. "Shall I summon the jeweler, or can we proceed to mediation?" Ethan's mother turned pale. Later, in the courthouse corridor, Alex placed the ring box in my palm. "You don't have to wear it," he said. "It was just to let her know you aren't without support." I gripped the box, the platinum edge digging into my palm. Why 4 years ago? That was during my sophomore year of college, when I had just started dating Ethan. Alex pressed the elevator button for me. The mirrored doors reflected his face, impassive. "Because that year on your birthday, you made a wish for someone who wouldn't leave." The elevator arrived, doors sliding open. He stepped inside, turned to look at me. "I don't make promises lightly, Catherine. But once I do, it's forever." Before the doors could close completely, I stepped in. In the narrow, gold-toned space, as floor numbers changed silently, I stood on my toes and kissed him. It was a kiss that tasted of coffee and mint candies. Restrained, tentative, yet smoldering like banked embers. He stiffened for an instant, then his palm pressed against my back, pushing me against the mirrored wall. The elevator stopped at some floor, footsteps sounded outside the door. We broke apart just before it opened, breaths mingling, lips barely an inch apart. This time, his thumb brushed my lower lip. "Are you sure?" "Sure of what?" "Sure about crossing that line." His steel blue eyes held mine. "Once we cross it, there's no more guardian, no more uncle, no turning back. Only Alex and Catherine. Only like this now." The footsteps outside faded. The elevator doors closed again. Looking at our overlapping reflections in the mirror, I said softly. "That line never existed from the moment at JFK 8 years ago." He smiled. It was the first time in 6 years I had seen Alex Lawson smile without reservation. Then he bent his head and kissed me. This time, there was no restraint, no tentativeness. It was a kiss like a vow, a brand, a response 8 years overdue. The elevator went straight to the top. When the doors opened, he lifted me and carried me toward the apartment. The ring box slipped from my hand, bouncing open on the corridor carpet. The platinum band rolled to the window, coming to rest in the February New York dusk. The inscription inside was clear in the fading light. "Since JFK, 2015. My entire adulthood has been waiting for this moment."